If you're taken before the tribulation, you won't be saved. Jesus gave us a historical example of what happens when people are taken away. And in that example, the ones taken were the ones facing judgment. Today we're going to expose why the pre-tribulation rapture has the timing completely backwards, and why that mistake could cost you everything. Let's start with what most Christians have been taught. The world gets worse and worse. Tribulation is coming. But don't worry, right before things get really bad, Jesus will secretly rapture the church. Believers disappear, cars crash, planes fall from the sky, and everyone left behind faces 7 years of hell on earth under the Antichrist. This narrative is everywhere. It's in our movies, our books, and our sermons. It's so embedded in modern Christianity that questioning it almost feels heretical. But this doctrine is less than 200 years old. The pre-tribulation rapture didn't exist in church history until the 1830s. Let that sink in. For 1800 years of Christianity, no one believed this. Not the apostles, not the early church fathers, and not even the Protestant reformers. So where exactly did this come from? The foundation was laid out by a Catholic Jesuit named Francisco Ribera in the late 1500s. He created a theological framework called futurism, specifically designed to defend the Catholic Church from Protestant reformers who were identifying the Pope as the Antichrist from Daniel and Revelation. But the rapture part? That came a bit later. Most historians trace it to a teenage girl named Margaret MacDonald who said she had a vision of the rapture in 1830. Then a preacher named John Nelson Darby picked it up and built an entire system called dispensationalism around it. Fast forward to 1909, the Schofield Reference Bible starts to mass produce this theology. Then in year 2000, the Left Behind series cements it into pop culture. And now millions of Christians think this brand new doctrine is what the Bible has always taught. So what does the Bible actually say about the rapture? Let's go to Matthew 24. Jesus is sitting with his disciples on the Mount of Olives. They ask him about the end times, and Jesus gives them a chronological breakdown of events leading to his return. And here's what's critical. Jesus never mentions a secret rapture before tribulation. In fact, he says the exact opposite. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation and kill you, and you'll be hated by all nations for my name's sake. Who's the you here? It's his disciples, his followers, Christians like you and I today. Jesus explicitly tells his people that they will go through tribulation. But here's where it gets really interesting. Look at verses 37 to 40. But as the days of Noah were, so also will the coming of the Son of Man be. For as in the days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving into marriage, until that day Noah entered the ark, and knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So also will the coming of the Son of Man be. Then 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken, and the other left. Now ask yourself this, in the days of Noah, who was taken away? In Noah's day, the floodwaters came down and took away the wicked. Noah and his family, the righteous, were left behind safely in the ark. This is what a lot of people miss. The people who were taken were destroyed. The people who were left behind were saved. Jesus is using the flood as a parallel to his second coming. It's the same pattern. When he returns, the wicked are taken in destruction by fire. The righteous are left and then gathered to meet him in the clouds. Now take a look at verses 29 to 31. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they will gather together his elect. This is the rapture. It's after the tribulation, not before. It's also not a secret either. In 1 Thessalonians 4:16, we read, For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of an archangel, and with the trumpet of God, and the dead in Christ will rise first. The words shout and trumpet of God indicate that this will be a loud and obvious event. Jesus doesn't come down to this earth to set up his kingdom, but he brings us to him in the clouds. So why does this matter? Why does getting the timing wrong matter? Because the pre-tribulation rapture creates unprepared Christians. Think about it. If you're taught that Revelation chapters 6 to 18 don't apply to you because you'll be raptured out, then you won't study them, you won't prepare, and you won't recognize the signs. and you won't develop the character needed to stand firm when the enemies of the cross will challenge your faith. And when tribulation actually comes, when the mark of the beast is enforced, when you're faced with choosing between God's law and man's law, you'll be caught completely off guard. Jesus said, "But he who endures to the end shall be saved," not he that gets raptured before it gets hard. If you look closely, every major group of God's people in the Bible were saved through judgment, not from it. Noah was saved through the flood. Israel was saved through the plagues of Egypt. Daniel was saved through the lion's den, and the 3 Hebrews through the fiery furnace. Why exactly would we be different? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Jesus said the way to life is narrow, and few find it. In Noah's day, only 8 people were saved out of the estimated millions who were on the earth. Before Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, only 3 escaped. The Bible never promises that most Christians will be saved. It promises the exact opposite. And here's what really matters. You're not saved by believing in a rapture. You're saved by surrendering to the will of God. Matthew 7 verses 21 to 23 says, "Not everyone who says to me, 'Lord, Lord,' shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he who does the will of my Father in heaven." So here's my appeal to you. Stop relying on an escape hatch that the Bible never promises. Instead, start preparing to stand through tribulation, not escaping it. Study Revelation, understand prophecy, and build your character. Continue to deepen your relationship with God, and learn what it means to endure. Because when the final crisis comes, and it will come, you want to be among the faithful few who remain standing. You want to be like Noah, safe in the ark while judgment falls around you. You want to be left behind. My name is Goose, and thanks for watching. If this video challenged you, hit that like button. If you think I'm completely wrong, leave a comment and let's talk about it. And if you want more content that tears down the assumptions we've been taught in church, subscribe and turn on notifications. The truth isn't always popular, but it's always worth pursuing. I'll catch you in the next one.